Picture this. It is finally quiet. The lights are off. You have just fluffed your pillow and you are drifting into a beautiful, well-deserved sleep. Suddenly, a heavy paw smacks you right on the nose. Or worse, a shadow darts across the room at the speed of light, knocking over a glass of water, followed by a loud, demanding meow that echoes through the house. Sound familiar? Welcome to the club, my fellow cat parents. We have all laid there in the dark, staring at the ceiling, wondering, is my cat doing this on purpose? Do they secretly hate me? Or did my fluffy roommate just completely malfunction? Let me reassure you, your cat is not broken, and they are not trying to torture you. Well, maybe just a little bit, but the real truth is that there are specific biological things your cat desperately craves right before bed. If they do not get them, nobody is sleeping tonight. Today, we are going to expose the hilarious and surprising truth about what is actually going on in that little furry head. I promise you, once you learn these secrets, your nights will never be the same. Before we dive into the madness, drop a comment below and tell me the name of your little midnight hooligan. Let's see who has the craziest night owl. To truly understand why our cats turn into little gremlins after dark, we have to travel back in time. Deep down, beneath that soft fur and those cute little toe beans, your cat is a fierce, untamed apex predator. I know, it is hard to believe when they get scared of their own sneezes, but their DNA tells a different story. In the wild, cats are what scientists call crepuscular. That is a fancy way of saying they are biologically programmed to be wide awake and ready for action at dawn and dusk. While we humans see the sunset and think, time for pajamas and Netflix, your cat sees the shadows getting longer and thinks, excellent, the perfect lighting for a stealthy assassination. Combine this with the fact that the average cat sleeps up to 16 hours a day, mostly while you're at work paying the bills for their premium wet food. By the time you are ready to recharge, their battery is at 100%. They are not trying to ruin your schedule. They are just living in a completely different time zone. Understanding this wild ancestry is the golden key to unlocking peaceful nights. So, let us kick things off with the absolute first thing your cat craves before bedtime. The thrill of the hunt, also known in our human world as the dreaded midnight zoomies. You know exactly what I am talking about. 1 minute they are purring on the rug, and the next they are drifting around the hallway corners, parkouring off the sofa, and staring intensely at a blank wall like they see a ghost. This is not just random craziness, it is a deep, uncontrollable craving to burn off pent-up hunting energy. Your cat's internal clock is ringing the dinner bell, but since they do not have to hunt for mice in your living room, that explosive energy has nowhere to go. If they do not get to release this wild panther energy, they will lie awake plotting. And usually, what they plot is how to attack your feet moving under the blankets. They crave the adrenaline rush, the chase, and the ultimate victory of the catch. It is a biological imperative that cannot be ignored if you want peace. Now, the biggest mistake cat parents make is ignoring this craving, or thinking the cat will just eventually calm down on their own. Spoiler alert, they will not. If you do not provide an outlet for this hunting instinct, they will find one. And trust me, you do not want your expensive curtains or your big toe to become the substitute prey. This is where you have to step up and be the ultimate game master. But here is the secret. Tossing a little plush mouse across the room once or twice is not going to cut it. You need to simulate a real life or death struggle. Your cat wants to stalk, pounce, bite, and bunny kick something into submission. It sounds violent, but for a cat, this is peak entertainment. We often believe the myth that our cats are just lazy, especially if they are a bit older or a little chunky. But the truth is, they are just waiting for the right kind of prey. If you master this step, you are already halfway to a peaceful night. So how do we satisfy this bloodthirsty craving without losing our minds? You need a wand toy, usually one with a feather or a little bug attachment on the end. And you have to make it act like real prey. Do not just dangle it in their face. Prey does not walk up to a predator and ask to be eaten. Make it hide behind a pillow, make it skitter across the floor, Make it fly through the air. You want your cat panting, jumping, and doing those hilarious little butt wiggles before they strike. This routine is called boil and simmer. You get them super excited, let them catch it, let them calm down for a second, and then get them excited again. Do this for about 10 to 15 minutes right before your bedtime. When they finally lay down on their side, breathing heavily and ignoring the toy, congratulations, you have successfully hunted. You have satisfied their inner wildcat and their brain is finally switching from hunter mode to time to relax mode. This brings us perfectly to the second massive craving every single cat has before bed, the late night feast. Think about the natural cycle of a wild predator. It goes like this: hunt, catch, kill, eat, groom, and sleep. If you play with your cat and then immediately go to bed, you are leaving their biological sequence unfinished. You gave them the hunt and the catch, but where is the reward? This is exactly why so many cats will wake you up at 3 a.m. screaming like they have not eaten in a decade. Their brain is stuck in a loop saying, I hunted but I didn't feast, the cycle is broken. They literally crave a meal to signal their body that the day's work is done. It is the feline equivalent of having a warm glass of milk or a midnight snack before going to sleep. Without this crucial step, their stomachs will rumble, their instincts will act up, and your face will become the target of their complaints. Now let us talk about the great food debate. A lot of cat parents just leave a massive bowl of dry kibble out all day and night. While this is convenient for you, it completely ruins the magic of the bedtime routine. If food is always available, it loses its psychological value. It is no longer a reward for the hunt. It is just boring background furniture. To really satisfy the bedtime craving, you need to offer a high-value, specific snack right after your evening play session. A small portion of wet food is absolute magic for this. Why? Because wet food is rich in protein and moisture, closely mimicking what they would eat in the wild. When a cat eats a nice, meaty snack, their body uses energy to digest it. This triggers a natural lethargy. We have all experienced the food coma after a huge Thanksgiving dinner, right? Well, cats experience the exact same thing. You want to induce that glorious food coma. Of course, if you forget this step, cats will take matters into their own paws. I have heard hilarious stories from cat parents whose pets turn into master thieves at night. We are talking about cats prying open cabinets to steal bags of treats, chewing through plastic to get to a loaf of bread, or even trying to fish an old French fry out of the trash can. My own cat once dragged an entire unpeeled banana into the bedroom just to make a point. To avoid this ridiculousness, make the bedtime snack an absolute ritual. If you want to take it to the next level, you can even use a puzzle feeder. Put a few treats or some dry food into a little puzzle toy. This not only satisfies the craving to eat, but also makes them use their brain to get it. Mental fatigue is just as powerful as physical fatigue. By the time they figure out how to get the last treat out of the puzzle, they will be practically falling asleep on their paws. And we absolutely cannot talk about the midnight feast without mentioning the weird water cravings. Have you ever noticed that your cat suddenly becomes incredibly thirsty the moment you turn the lights off? And for some reason, the perfectly clean, expensive water fountain you bought them is completely ignored. Instead, they crave the water from your personal glass on the nightstand. Why do they do this? Partly, it is because they like fresh water, and they know your glass was just filled, but mostly it is about sharing resources and territory. They see you drinking from it, so they assume it is the good stuff. Then they do that funny thing where they dip their little paw into your glass and lick the water off their toes, essentially washing their feet in your beverage. To satisfy this craving without drinking paw water yourself, try keeping a dedicated small water glass just for them on a dresser nearby. It makes them feel special and keeps your water safe. Moving on to craving number 3, the perfect nesting spot. Once a cat has hunted and eaten, their vulnerability goes up. In the wild, a sleeping predator is a target. So your sweet little fluff ball suddenly becomes obsessed with finding the absolute most secure, perfect place to sleep. This is why you will see them wandering from room to room, doing the bedtime patrol. You might have spent $80 on a plush, orthopedically designed cat bed, but right now, your cat is craving something else. They want a space that smells like safety, holds their body heat, and provides cover. This is why they will completely ignore the expensive bed and instead curl up inside an empty cardboard box, a crinkly paper bag, or right on top of the clean laundry you just folded. They crave the security of boundaries. A box provides walls that protect their blind spots. It is not them being ungrateful for the bed, it is them following million-year-old survival protocols. Elevation and warmth are two huge factors in this nesting craving. Cats love to be up high because it gives them a strategic vantage point to survey their kingdom, your living room, and spot any approaching danger, the vacuum cleaner. Well, that is why you will often find them sleeping on the very top of the wardrobe, on the highest shelf of a bookcase, or awkwardly balanced on the backrest of a computer chair. Furthermore, a cat's normal body temperature is slightly higher than ours, which means they are heat-seeking missiles. Before bed, they crave absolute coziness. This explains why they will sleep directly on top of a hot radiator, squish themselves under the warm television box, or decide that the most comfortable place in the entire house is sleeping directly on your neck, cutting off your oxygen supply. They are literally using you as a giant, breathing, heated mattress pad. It is uncomfortable for you, but it is pure heaven for them. As they finally settle into their chosen nesting spot, you will witness one of the cutest, yet sometimes most painful cravings, making biscuits, also known as kneading. Before they can close their eyes, they have a primal urge to rhythmically push their paws in and out of a soft surface. If that surface happens to be your stomach or your thigh, you know the pain of those little needle claws. But why do they do this? This craving goes all the way back to their earliest days of life. As newborn kittens, they need their mother's belly to stimulate the flow of milk. It is a moment associated with ultimate safety, warmth, and a full tummy. When your adult cat does this before bed, they are regressing to that happy childhood state. It is a self-soothing mechanism. They are literally making the bed more comfortable while simultaneously telling you, I feel as safe with you as I did with my mommy. So, grab a thick blanket to protect your skin and let them bake those bedtime biscuits. Craving number 4 is an absolute necessity for every feline out there. The intensive grooming session. Have you ever noticed that right before your cat goes to sleep, they suddenly act like they have fallen into a mud puddle, even if they have been inside all day? They will sit down, throw one back leg straight up in the air like an Olympic gymnast, and aggressively start washing themselves. This isn't just vanity, it is a profound biological craving. In the wild, smell is everything. If a cat goes to sleep smelling like the food they just ate, or the wet food you just gave them, they might attract larger predators. Grooming is their way of erasing their scent trail. They are meticulously scrubbing away the smells of the day to become invisible in the dark. Their rough, sandpaper-like tongues act as a comb to remove loose fur and distribute natural oils, making their coat waterproof and warm for the night. They simply cannot relax until they feel totally clean. But this grooming craving does not stop at their own fur. Oh no! Often this craving extends to you. Just when you are trying to close your eyes, you might find a rough tongue violently licking your nose, your hair, or your arm. Why? Because in your cat's mind, you are part of their family group. And quite frankly, they think you are a very large, very clumsy, hairless kitten who is absolutely terrible at cleaning themselves. Mutual grooming or allo-grooming is a massive sign of trust and affection in the feline world. When they lick you before bed, they are marking you with their scent, claiming you as their own, and ensuring that your smell will not attract predators to the nest. It is their way of saying, I love you, now let me clean your face because you stink. It is a beautiful bonding ritual, even if waking up to a wet, scratchy tongue on your eyelid is not exactly the spa treatment you were hoping for. You can actually use this grooming craving to your advantage to hack your cat's bedtime routine. Since grooming is a deeply relaxing, self-soothing activity for them, you can step in and help. Keep a soft cat brush near your bed. When they start their nighttime washing routine, gently start brushing their cheeks, the back of their neck, and their spine. Doing this mimics the feeling of a mother cat licking her kittens. It causes their brain to release endorphins and lowers their heart rate. As a bonus, it actually lowers your heart rate and reduces human stress too. Within minutes, you will activate their internal purr machine. The combination of the rhythmic brushing and the deep, vibrating purr is the ultimate feline lullaby. By fulfilling their craving for grooming and social bonding, you are actively helping them transition from a hyperactive hunter into a sleepy, loving puddle of fur. It is a win-win for everyone involved. Let's move on to craving number 5, which is perhaps the most serious business for your cat, the perimeter patrol. Have you ever watched your cat right before bed? They do not just walk to their sleeping spot. They go on a very deliberate, slow-motion walk around the entire house. They sniff the front door. They look out the living room window. They check behind the sofa. This is their nightly guard duty. Your house is their territory, and before they can allow themselves to become vulnerable in sleep, they have a massive craving to ensure the perimeter is secure. They are checking for any new smells, any signs of intruder cats outside, or anything out of place. It is hilarious to watch a 10-pound fluffy house cat act like a highly trained security guard, but to them, this is life or death. If you interrupt this patrol, or if they hear a strange noise outside, they will not sleep. They will stay on high alert, pacing the floor until they are satisfied the area is clear. This territorial craving is exactly why the closed door tragedy happens. If you try to shut your bedroom door at night, separating your cat from either you or the rest of the house, you will face their absolute wrath. Cats despise closed doors. In their minds, a closed door is a massive insult and a tactical nightmare. Their territory has been suddenly cut in half. They can no longer patrol the living room, and worse, if a predator gets into the bedroom, they have no escape route. This is why a cat will stick their paws under the door, scratch the wood, and yowl at the top of their lungs for hours. They are not necessarily crying because they want to be on the bed with you. They are crying because their craving for territorial control is being denied. To keep the peace, you either have to leave the door open a crack or make peace with the fact that you live with a very furry, very loud micromanager who demands access to all rooms at all times. During this nighttime patrol, you will also notice them rubbing their cheeks on the corners of walls, the legs of chairs, and even your shins. They might also go to town on their scratching post. This is another crucial part of the bedtime routine, marking their territory. Cats have scent glands on their cheeks, paws, and flanks. When they rub against things, they are depositing their unique pheromones. It is their way of leaving invisible sticky notes all over the house that say, "Mine, mine, also mine." Re-establishing their scent right before sleep gives them a huge sense of psychological comfort. They crave the smell of their own ownership. When they come into your bedroom and aggressively rub their face on your phone, your book, or your face, they are officially declaring that the sleeping quarters belong to them. You are just a guest in their house, and you should be grateful they let you sleep in their bed. Once the perimeter is secure and the territory is marked, you will often notice another funny behaviour related to this security craving, the sentry position. Many cats will jump onto the bed, but instead of curling up next to you, they will sit right at the foot of the bed, facing the bedroom door. They sit there like a little gargoyle staring into the dark hallway. This is the ultimate guard cat stance. They are positioning themselves between you and the only entrance to the room. In their minds, they are protecting the pack while you sleep. Of course, cynical cat behaviourists sometimes joke that they sit at your feet so that if a monster comes through the door, it will eat you first, giving the cat time to escape. But let's believe it is out of pure love and protection. Letting them fulfill this craving to be the watchman gives them the mental peace they need to eventually lay their head down and drift off. Finally, we arrive at craving number 6, and this is the sweetest one of all, your undivided attention. Let's be honest, cats are masters of ignoring us. You can call their name all afternoon, buy them expensive toys, and try to pet them while you are working, and they will look at you like you are a peasant. But the magical hour strikes. The moment you put your phone down, turn off the TV, and actually want to sleep, suddenly, you are the most fascinating creature on the planet. They crave your attention right now. This is because twilight is their natural social hour. In a colony, cats interact, play, and bond the most as the sun goes down. When the house gets quiet and the distractions of the human day fade away, your cat realizes that they finally have you all to themselves. They will headbutt your chin, walk across your chest, and maybe even gently nip your nose. They are demanding that you acknowledge them before the day is officially over. This is also the time for the midnight gossip. Many cats become incredibly vocal right before bed. They will walk around doing little trills, chirps, and soft meows. They are literally telling you about their day. I saw a bird outside. The litter box is acceptable. I thought about attacking the vacuum cleaner but decided against it. This vocalization is a craving for social affirmation. They are talking to their favorite human. And here is a secret. If you actually talk back to them, it builds an incredible bond. Whispering softly to them, answering their little chirps with, "Oh, really, is that so?" makes them feel heard and validated. This conversation is the emotional equivalent of reading a bedtime story to a child. It reassures them that the social bond between you two is strong and secure. Once they feel that the connection is solid, the anxiety melts away, making room for relaxation. When all 6 cravings are finally met, the hunt is over, the belly's full of a tasty snack, the perfect nest is found, the fur is clean, the territory is secure, and the social bond is reaffirmed, you reach the ultimate comfort zone. Your cat will finally settle down, usually pressing their body firmly against your leg or side. They crave this physical contact, this synchronized breathing. As you slow your breathing down to sleep, they sync their breathing with yours. The deep, rumbling purr starts, acting as a healing frequency for both their body and yours. Science has shown that a cat's purr can literally lower human blood pressure and reduce stress. In the end, despite all the crazy zoomies and demanding meows, we are their ultimate comfort blanket. They need us just as much as we need them. When a cat chooses to sleep pressed against you, it is the highest compliment they can give. It means they trust you with their life. So there you have it, cat moms and cat dads. The mystery of the midnight madness is officially solved. Your cat isn't plotting to ruin your life. They are just following the ancient wild instincts hardwired into their furry little bodies. By understanding these 6 bedtime cravings, the hunt, the late night snack, the perfect nesting spot, the grooming ritual, the territorial patrol, and your undivided love, you can completely transform your nights. No more 3 a.m. wake-up calls, no more bitten toes, just a happy, sleepy kitty purring away by your side. Now that you know exactly what is going on in that complicated feline brain, you can be the ultimate cat parent. If this video helped you understand your fluffy dictator a little better, please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with another exhausted cat owner who desperately needs some sleep. And before you go, tell me in the comments, what is the weirdest, funniest thing your cat must do before they go to sleep? I can't wait to read your stories. Until next time, give your kitties a chin scratch for me and sweet dreams.